Man, I'm feeling more geriatric by the day.
Have you ever wondered why Foodie Beauty eats when it clearly causes her physical pain? I've also asked myself that question many times. What goes through her head when her body says stop, but her brain says keep going? What you're witnessing here is a classic mix of projection, rationalization, and normalization at play here. She assumes that because she eats in such large quantities quite quickly, other people must also eat that way, but they're just not self confident enough to admit it like she does. Instead of accepting that her eating behaviors and patterns are disordered and extreme, she projects them onto the rest of her audience. While she does go through brief periods of self reflection and self realization, those short windows of time do not last long, and she is right back into her mukbangs. She sees herself as a supersized champion who is open about her relationship with food. While other people must be lying about how they eat, she is the truth teller in her own mind. She attributes her own compulsive behaviors to others as if they share the same urges as she does.
I should have just stayed in Syria because the food. This is so good. I'm getting full, but I'm like, it's so delicious. The rice. Ow. I like mango cheesecake. My recipe is cooking without a recipe. Nina, really? You thought that? La da 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 da.
Foodie's train of thought is that everyone eats the same way she does, but we just don't want to admit it. By creating this narrative in her own mind, she creates a hug box where her behavior isn't abnormal, it's just unspoken. This makes her feel less isolated and less accountable for her actions. She reframes her actions as universal rather than just disordered, which reduces the pressure to change her habits and lifestyle. She lives in a giant bubble, and she sticks her head in the ground whenever that bubble is threatened. Saying others are lying allows her to avoid facing the possibility that her own eating patterns are extremely unhealthy and linked to a severe and serious eating disorder. It protects her self image and helps her avoid shame. By insisting that what she's doing is normal, she avoids labeling her eating as a binge behavior, which would feel like a threat to acknowledge that in her own mind. Deep down, she knows her behavior around food isn't normal. Admitting that, however, would create a mental conflict. Feelings of guilt, embarrassment, or even a desire to actually change her life creates uneasiness. And we all know she's not happy unless she is as comfortable as possible. Her mind resolves this conflict internally by convincing herself that everyone else is the same as she is, just less honest and open. She senses on some level that her eating is outside the norm, but to silence this inner conflict, her mind rewrites reality to say she's just the one who's being honest about everything. This mental pattern is common in people struggling with compulsive behaviors. They reshape the world they live in so that their way feels like the default or the norm, so to speak. It's basically a defense mechanism. If she reframes overeating as a universal thing, then she's not out of control. She's just being honest. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one, friends.